Welcome to Hong Kong Business Owners. I'm Carmen, founder of this podcast that shares inspiring stories from entrepreneurs based in Hong Kong. Whether you created your own business, thinking about doing so, or simply curious to discover business creation stories, you'll get to listen to unique business owners' journeys, to learn what it takes to start a company, what the keys to success are, how to apprehend failures and challenges, and what to keep in mind when developing your own business. I hope each episode will inspire you and guide you in your current or future projects. Hi everyone, so today is the new episode of Hong Kong Business Owners. I welcome Selene, founder of the Rebel Moms, a fashion brand that celebrates motherhood, providing them with clothes to make them stylish and fashionable. And it's also a platform for moms to share their stories freely without judgment. Hi Selene, welcome on the podcast.
Hi Carmen, thanks for having me.
How are you today?
Very good, how are you?
I'm fine. So your brand, the Rebel Moms, isn't only a brand that sells clothes, it's also a community of moms that are together to spread a different vision of motherhood. So it's actually a brand with a purpose. And is it that desire to change motherhood that triggers the start of your brand?
Yes, definitely. Because in the Asian culture, I think that there's actually a very typical stereotype of how a mom should look like. It's called a mom look. And usually women feels, self-conscious if they don't look like a mom after becoming a mom.
But what is the mom? What does it look like, the mom look?
The mom look, I think, first of all, quite conservative. And some mom decided to cut their hair short. And one is like during pregnancy, they think that having long hair will steal all the nutrition from the baby. And second is that they feel like having long hair is not suitable for being a mom. And also the way they dress, I think, is to more cover their imperfection on their bodies. And because no one want to look at a body of a mom. And so oftentimes there's a mom look. And it's actually, I have to say, the look is very standard. And I feel like some of the mom maybe don't enjoy it like me. I don't think that I want to cut my hair short or just dress like a mom or cover the so-called imperfection. I think that after pregnancy, yes, my body changed, but I don't think that that's an ugly change.
Yeah. And is it something that is cultural, like in Hong Kong or in China or in Asia, or is it also somewhere else?
I think so, because for me, my background is that I actually used to study and lived in the US for a very long time, and also lived in China, and I was like born and raised in Hong Kong, so I really understand three culture perspective. And I think that I do see a very common thing that's happening is that women are often like following these rules of the standard of how we should look like. Doesn't matter if we're moms, a girl, women, we just have like this very standard that we have to follow and to feel normal.
Yeah. You worked you lived in the US before, and also before launching this brand, you were working in a very different industry for quite a long time. But also you studied fashion when you were younger, and now you are coming back to this industry. So what made you come back to it?
Well, first of all, like when since I was a little girl, I actually, self-taught myself how to draw at a really young age. So I was always very passionate about fashion and drawing people and style and clothes. Growing up, I wanted to be a fashion designer. That's why I pursued fashion design in college. But the problem is after I graduated and I actually worked in a few fashion companies, an intern, I actually didn't have a very good experience. I feel like in the fashion world can be quite difficult and quite cold and sometimes quite cruel.
How so?
Feels like, it's just not very helpful. Like sometimes you don't understand things, and sometimes you're expected to know everything, but you actually want to learn and to understand things, and also quite competitive as well. So You know, as a someone that's fashion, like really passionate about fashion design, I would really want to design something. But the thing is, sometimes like people don't often see the same view as you, and they will discourage you as soon as they realize you're not the same style as them. These things are very subjective, and I have a lot of times that people would say that, oh, your stuff is not good enough, you're a bad designer, you shouldn't do fashion design, your stuff are crap, like things like that.
Wow, that's tough.
It's very tough, and I felt really defeated. That's why I left fashion. Yeah, and I came back to fashion because I really got inspired during my pregnancy, 2 pregnancies during COVID.
Wow.
So yeah, I felt this strong urge of creating this brand because of how the society is right now, and I think that now the society is also trending in this kind of topic about women and body positive, and also how women are portrayed for centuries, how we should dress, like how we should look, like how we should behave. And I feel like I was one of the person that was like blinded with a lot of things, and I think I'm finally kind of like awoke from it, and the moment I'm awoke, I wanted to create this brand.
But do you think that what also helped you going towards that direction, apart from pregnancy, is also that maybe as you lived abroad, you could, gain experience and knowledge from different culture, and then it opens up your mind like, oh, actually, I understand like the difference, and maybe it got you thinking about all of that. And you were, for a long time, you quit fashion, and do you think you gained skills that you can now apply to your job now? Because I guess for many years you were like doing something very different.
I think what I have learned during those times when I was in fashion definitely helped me right now to shape me to who I am and to build my own company. I learned a lot, but at the same time I feel like I wish that it wasn't as like unhelpful when I wanted help when I was younger. So now when I look at younger people, I often like to really help them and explain things to them and tell them that they're talented instead of discouraging them.
And so you had this epiphany with your pregnancy during COVID. That must have been tough, but also maybe it was a good time to get pregnant because we were all locked down. So then how did it start? So you realized that, and actually your desire was to help women?
Yes.
And then what happened after that?
It all started with that one comment when I was 3 months pregnant trying to buy jeans for my pregnancy. And I went to this maternity place, and the staff lady was, commenting on how fat I look. They say that, wow, this is your first pregnancy, how come you look so big? And that really made me uncomfortable and ashamed of myself. I kept thinking maybe I shouldn't eat so much. I felt ashamed that I'm not like any other woman that I see online, especially a lot of social media in Hong Kong. Like often the stars, celebrities, they bounce right back after pregnancy, and oftentimes they just barely gain any weight during pregnancy. So that also pressured me to feel like I wasn't doing enough. I wasn't being a good woman. I'm not I'm not doing the right things, and I wanted to fit in. So I was like kind of having a depression because seeing my body grow that big and seeing stretch marks and seeing myself, just look so different really made me self-conscious and sad. And then after, giving birth, I went through a little period of, I think, depression.
Yeah.
That I wasn't sharing with anyone because I felt ashamed. Apparently in Asian culture, that's a shameful thing to share.
Wow.
So I didn't share, and it made it worse. So during that time, I think that that's when I got inspired and realized that this is actually not okay. Maybe I wasn't the only person that feels this way, and I maybe I should do something about it. So yeah, I did something about it.
Do you feel that in Hong Kong, especially, there's a like fat shaming here? How dare she tell you something about your body if you're in a shop to buy clothes and you're pregnant?
I guess like I don't know if it's like called fat shaming, but just more like there's a standard in Hong Kong that if you don't look like that, you are not in shape.
Okay.
So, but I guess that lady was a bit intense, I have to say. But I think, yeah, I do sometimes feel self-conscious because I'm actually quite tall. I'm a 5'8", so, you know, in Hong Kong, I'm actually giant.
Yeah.
So if I am, a bit chubbier, I will be considered fat. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But when I was in US, when I lived in US, I was considered very skinny.
Yeah. Different standard.
Yes, very different standard.
So yeah, and actually when you started this project, it was more like a community of women because you wanted to share your experience. So how did it go?
Yeah, I actually just started with a group of women. Just, they're all like mumtrepreneur. We all try to start something, and we all wanted to, create some sort of, support system with each other. So just started with a really small group, and I shared my views. Not every mom supported me, actually. A lot of them told me that this is not gonna work. Yeah, only I think 1 or 2 people told me that, this is cool. And then out of like 10 people. So yeah, it was tough. But I started posting some quotes online to, share to the world and see how people feel. And I realized that I was getting a lot of likes, actually. And so that kind of encouraged me to share more of my own quotes and feelings about motherhood. And that's how I started. And then obviously when, I realized that this standard of how mom should look like, that really inspired me to make mom look stylish. And that's how I started this fashion brand, yeah.
Cool. That's so cool to start with a community, because then you have people following you, and it's more than just clothes. It has a meaning behind it. And then so you started designing the clothes, and how do you start all of this? Because it's a big project. You need to find suppliers, you need to find the raw materials, you need to make the clothes actually. So how was it? Was it during COVID that you started this?
It was during COVID, yeah. It was tough because COVID, everything was slow. It was like not, we weren't allowed to travel, and even meeting people was difficult. So, and I was also pregnant most of the time, and it was really tough for me. But I really wanted to, be a rebel and really work through this project through my pregnancy, and to show that I'm really passionate about this and I really want to make this work. I actually, I need to source, fabric, locally in Hong Kong, find seamstress locally in Hong Kong just to make samples, and, design everything on my own. Actually, the entire brand, including brand logo, brand identity, website, clothing, every single little thing was designed by me. There's no one helped me at that time.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's actually all one person job. And then I have some external help with just small things, because it was COVID as well, so it was hard to really, communicate with people at that time. Yeah.
And actually, it's your brand and you are the founder, but you also have a business partner, which is your husband. Actually, you are both co-founders. So how is it to work with your husband on this project, and what are your roles?
So, it was very mentally draining for me to build this brand while I was pregnant and going through COVID. For me, there was like a lot of discouragement building this brand. Lots of people told me that it wasn't gonna work, and there were times that I was having like pregnancy hormones. So, I wanted to give up like 1,000 times, but my husband was the one that was supporting me the whole time, telling me, no, you're not stupid, keep going, I believe in your dream, and I believe in your brand, keep pushing it. So that really helped me to build my brand. That's why I named him my co-founder, because without him, there's no way that I can even go through with this. Yeah.
It's very inspiring because I heard a few women, they have a job, they have kids, and deep down they would like to be entrepreneur, but they still fearful because it can be scary, because you can feel lonely sometimes. Also, money-wise, it's not always super easy to manage and forecast what you'll get. And when you have kids, also, you have so many things to do. So I think they would be very inspired listening to you, that it's possible to have kids and be an entrepreneur. And you started your brand while you were pregnant. So I hope they'll listen to this episode.
Yeah, I have so much respect for full-time moms, because I actually think that full-time moms is actually a super, super tough job. But I also do want to inspire the woman to know that just because you're a mom doesn't mean that you cannot do something that you love and be entrepreneur yourself.
So you started all of this alone, and now are you working with other people? And if yes, then what's your job now today?
Right now, I'm actually, because my brand is a very community brand that I want to bring people together. So I actually want to work with different platforms in Hong Kong that are, sharing the same views and mission like me, encouraging women, mothers platform, mother and kids, maybe even some organization that I can work with, for mental health, body image, just all sorts of that. That I'm actually reaching out to people that I would like to collaborate with, and design more cool clothes, stylish clothes for moms. Yeah.
And do you also design clothes for kids?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do design clothes, matching outfits, from my launch collections and my celebration collection, and it's actually exclusive for that. I think moms love matching with their kids, so that's why I designed them.
All right. So you're more responsible of the design part still, and also the kind of the community part. And how do you manage the rest? Do you work with freelancers, or do you have full-time employees?
I have both. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm the type of people that like to do a lean startup. I don't like to go too crazy in the beginning. I like to start with small things and just develop as you go. I think that's my advice for a startup. Don't just overspend in the beginning, and don't hire too many people in the beginning. Just start with small things first, have freelancer help you, and then later on you can evolve to maybe part-time, full-time. Take your time to build, because it takes time to build a brand. You don't just build a brand overnight, or you think a few months I'll build a brand. Actually, it takes way longer than that. For me, in my experience, your brand will keep evolving. You think that you have the best idea today, you might have a better idea 1 year later, and your brand might sound even more badass 1 year later. So just keep building, keep evolving, and just develop as you go with people.
How it is to because it's your brand, it's like your baby, how it is to delegate some tasks to other people, because I guess this is not super easy when you are used to do everything, so you have control over it. But even if it's freelancers, how is it to say, okay, you do that job, you're just managing that person, but you don't actually do the job yourself?
I think that managing people doesn't mean you don't have things to do. I think managing people is actually quite a difficult task. It's not easy at all. So I never think that having, someone that works for me is like gonna make my life easier in a way that like I don't have to do anything anymore. No, actually, it's a lot of management, and also managing their expectation, managing, the workload, managing, how your relationship is with the person. So I think that's what, any entrepreneur out there should keep in mind when you're managing people. It's not gonna be less work. It's not. Yeah. It's definitely gonna be more work, but then it will make your company bigger, grow bigger, and one person compared with two people, the result will be, if you have two people, you'll have bigger result, and that's your expectation should be like.
Working with a team, how do you make sure that you really share your values, you keep the same vision for your brand, the same mindset, that you share that with the people in your team? How do you do that?
I think I usually will know when I interview someone if they share the same mindset with me. I have interviewed people that I can just tell they don't see my vision, and it's okay, because I don't think that, I'm not doing this for everyone. I'm doing that for people that believe in what I'm doing. So when I see someone, I can tell if they believe in my mission, then usually it works. Yeah.
All right. And how do you keep, because the community of your brand is something super important to you, and also we can see on your Instagram page that there's a mix between the quotes, between clothes, and so we can see that this community is super powerful. How do you keep the community engaged? Is it part of the vision of your company? Is it part of the plan?
So we will be releasing some series of called the 100 Moms campaign from the Rebel Moms, which is going to bring us closer, because we'll be sharing by different moms of their stories, how their stories, like being a mother or journey of a woman wanting to be a mother, different types of stories. So I think that will be a platform, and also have a space in Central right now at PMQ. I want that to be a space for moms to gather and to have conversations, because I think that is very important, and I want to keep women, women that are passionate about the same mission in loop, and to, can meet each other. That's why I also have an offline space, and also online I have a platform for people to share their stories.
Okay. So I guess, this is part of your plan. And do you have I guess you have medium and long-term objectives? Do you have this in mind on top of the daily tasks?
You mean
like a long-term vision for your business, where you want it to go, I don't know, in 5 years or even more than that? Do you have this somewhere in your mind? And if yes, do you share it with the people you work with?
Yeah, actually, I think for startup entrepreneur, when you build a business, you want to build it to last. And that's my mentality. I want to build something that lasts. That's why I take my time, and I actually want to build something that I can keep the conversation going. So yeah, my mentality is that I hope the future, this can be global.
Oh, cool. Maybe outside of Hong Kong?
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Okay. And talking about Hong Kong, what's the fashion landscape looks like here? Because I've been here for a year, and I really love fashion and clothes, and I don't want to sound mean, but so far in Hong Kong, I mean, apart from your brand, I haven't seen super nice clothes, or also I come from Paris, but so maybe I'm biased because in some countries they have this taste for clothes, and maybe I'm wrong, but personally I haven't seen that in Hong Kong. Is it something that you find too, and what about the other fashion brands here? I mean, I'm not saying there are not good fashion brands here, but in general.
Yeah, I actually hear a lot of people say the same thing about
Okay.
Hong Kong fashion scene. That's the thing that I feel really strongly about actually because I'm from Hong Kong, so I feel like that this is why I need to do something about it because I want to, change that, there's this thought about how Hong Kong fashion scene is. I think that I'm sure Hong Kong have like talented people that are in fashion, but I think they just went overseas. They often don't stay in Hong Kong. And I actually know some friends that are actually very good designers, but they don't live in Hong Kong or they just go somewhere else to pursue their career, which makes sense because I feel like in like fashion in Hong Kong doesn't seem like the most appealing industry to be in. But I see it differently. I do see a really big potential, and I feel like I want to really represent Hong Kong as a Hong Kong fashion designer that's starting a fashion brand with a platform. And I really want to change that perception of how Hong Kong fashion scene is.
But do you know why designers go overseas? Do you have an explanation of why the Hong Kong fashion scene is like that?
To be honest, I'm not 100% sure, but if you ask me, if I think about it, maybe they feel like overseas, like for example, like Paris, right? It's well known for fashion scene. So I think just the idea of it, or New York Fashion Week, like these things, like you think that going overseas will be much more appealing. I think like the fashion world, and there's just so much more going on. Whereas Hong Kong, I feel like comparatively, I don't think it's as many opportunity as you can see. Yeah.
And also, Hong Kong seems to be a very nice city to start projects and start a business. So it might also inspire people to do the same thing.
Yeah, I think Hong Kong these days has kind of like, I think after COVID, it just got really quiet. And, that's also, I think, why a lot of people are just moving away from Hong Kong and business are closing down in Hong Kong. And I do have faith in Hong Kong. I feel like Hong Kong will go back to normal, and Hong Kong is a place for people to start something. It's a fast-paced city. It's a city, full of hope and dreams. So I believe that Hong Kong is still a very good place to start a business. Yeah.
Actually, people leaving Hong Kong may be an opportunity to, have more space to do something, actually.
That's a good way to see it. Yeah, that's a good way to see it.
And do you think that regarding the fashion industry, do you think that China has an influence also?
I feel like China fashion is very broad. I think they're very adaptable in a way because Chinese culture, they have their own way of thinking about fashion. But at the same time, I feel like they're not as conservative. They're actually very open-minded. They actually really like fashion from Paris. They love it. A lot of people travel there to buy things. And I think also Western fashion. I was just visiting Shanghai during summer, and I realized that people there is so fashionable. They're really open-minded. Like you can see actually moms dressed in like really cool red polka dot like vintage outfit with red lipstick and heels and just play dress up with their kids, and it's just a very normal thing you see around Shanghai. And I was like, oh, that is very cool. So I think it's a bit different, but very open-minded, I think.
Do you have clients in China? Because you lived in China for a while.
Yeah, but I was studying at that time.
Oh, okay. Do you sell clothes in China?
Oh, not yet, but we're thinking about it. Yeah, I think we want to expand globally. So yeah, China definitely somewhere we have in mind as well.
Okay, cool. So for now, you sell mostly online, and you also have a pop-up store. That's what you were saying?
Yes, we have a physical store now in PMQ Central. So yeah, we have a store and we also sell online, and now we ship internationally. Actually, we just announced it today.
Oh, today?
Yeah, I ship
Okay, cool.
internationally, yes.
Nice. Good news. All right. So I guess this is in terms of logistic, was it another challenge on top of the rest?
No, as soon as you figure out that you can ship globally, I mean, because that's the reason why I started, is because I do have a lot of friends from the US are requesting to buy my things, and I feel very excited about it, so I figured it out how to ship internationally.
Cool. Good announcement. I'm glad we have this announcement also here. All right. So this brings us to the last question. So do you have any tips to share with current business owners, or also, as I was referring to, moms who would secretly dream of creating their own business? Do you also have tips or advice to share with them?
I think that I do have a story actually to share. When I was 3 months postpartum, someone told me that like an older person told me that after being a mom, usually mom should just stay home and be a mom. If you pursue career, that's actually a bad mom behavior. That's a very old thinking. I'm not saying she's wrong. I think there are still a lot of people that believe in that, and especially the older generation. She told me that, like, you're mom and you should stay home and you shouldn't be pursuing your career. You should just be useless, pretty much. I caught this fire in me and made me really didn't want to do that. I want to go the opposite, because I don't believe in that. I think that, mom shouldn't be that way, especially if you don't want to. And my advice is that never let anyone tell you that you cannot do anything when you become a mom. You can do anything you want, even if you're a mom. So don't let anyone stop you.
I think that's a very good advice to end the episode. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story and for letting us know more about the Rebel Moms. We learned a lot also about the fashion industry. I think it was super inspiring. It was lovely to have you on the podcast. So thank you. And I hope you enjoyed the conversation. So where can we find out more about the Rebel Moms?
You can visit our website and our IG. Our IG is the Rebel Moms, like MUMS. And you can also visit our website, www.therebelmomsmums.com.
So all the links to the website and social media are in the description of the episode. Thanks to you, my dear listeners. I hope you're inspired by today's business story. And if you're thinking about running your own business, you might now be one step closer to doing so. See you in 2 weeks for a new business story. And don't forget to leave me 5 stars to support me and follow me on Instagram at hk.businessowners. Bye!